If you suffer from anxiety, here's what I want you to know. Sometimes anxiety isn't a mental health problem. Sometimes it's your soul screaming because you're living by rules that you never agreed to. Today we're talking about a subtle cause of anxiety that most people completely overlook: society's arbitrary rules. These are the invisible rules about how success, relationships, careers, and how you're supposed to live play out in our day-to-day lives. Welcome to video 3 of You plus Anxiety equal BFF, how to stop fighting anxiety and start feeling safe in your own life. I am Angie, your inner glow coach, and I help women stop letting anxiety run their lives so they can finally stop playing small and wake up to their own power. And like all of my videos, each video in this series has at least one powerful action step at the end, because anxiety doesn't have to control your life anymore, and taking action is the most effective way out. And if you are suffering from anxiety, I want you to know that it is possible to feel good in your life, and you deserve to feel that way. Today we're talking about why you have anxiety. Reason number 3, you're doing things to check off all the boxes of society's arbitrary bullshit rules, or your family system rules, or any other invisible rules that you never agreed to. And if this is you, there is no shame, because like many of us, including myself, have fallen victim to this. Growing up, I was expected to go to college. So when I graduated from high school at 17 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, which, if you think about it, is totally normal, because who decided that it was a good idea to have 17 and 18-year-olds decide what occupation they wanted to have for the rest of their life? And this is why I keep calling society's standards arbitrary, because who came up with them and what is the reason? Like, you know that Cardi B meme? What is the reason? Like, that's how I feel when I talk about this. And I've also heard a theory that the school system was designed the way it was during the Industrial Revolution. I've never fact-checked this, and I don't even know if there's a way, but it was designed that way during the Industrial Revolution to condition children to be prepared to work in factories, because it's like that sit down, shut up, do as you're told, follow instruction mentality. And we tend to operate by these same rules that don't even fit into modern day eras. But anyway, so back to college. I went to college and I chose finance as my major because business felt like a practical major, and I went to the Indiana University Kelley School of Business. So within the business school, there were 3 concentrations: marketing, operations, and finance. I didn't want to do marketing. I didn't even really know what operations was. And so I was good at math, so I was like, oh, finance sounds good. It wasn't because I was interested in it or wanted to do it. It just felt very practical and felt like something I could do, not necessarily something I wanted to do. And then after college, oh, and by the way, I was the first person in my family on both sides, my mom and my dad's side, to graduate college with a bachelor's degree. So there was all this pressure on me to go to college, but then when I graduated, nobody gave a shit, because then there was more pressure to like get a corporate job and work a stable job. And so that's what I did. I got a corporate job and I continued working in corporate America for over 20 years. And then I finally started doing the inner work, and that's when I realized I wasn't living my life for me. I had been living by family rules, school system rules, society rules, corporate America rules, and none of those were aligned with who I am as a person. So the worst part about this is I never even questioned, what do I want? What makes me happy? Is this aligned with who I am? So when you're constantly dimming who you are to fit into someone else's rules, that builds tension in your body, because my identity was quirky, carefree, creative, and I was conforming to this identity of college, work, finance, spreadsheets. And so there was tension in that gap, and that tension in that gap shows up as anxiety. And similar to the last video, the solution to this is not always easy, because when you go against the grain of all of these arbitrary rules, as senseless as they may seem, you will make a lot of other people uncomfortable, because independent thinkers can't be controlled and you seem like a threat, which is a totally other tangent that I can go on. But my point is, you will have to make the difficult choice. Do I want to keep living like this, or do I want to live my life free, to be fully expressed and to be whoever the hell I want and tolerate some haters while doing it? Because trust me, when you are truly shining from the inside and loving your own light and your life and happy with who you are, it makes a lot of other people uncomfortable. And that's okay. Because here's the thing, haters are not your problem. Sometimes when people see you living differently, it challenges the choices that they've made in their own lives, because it's very likely they're also going, with these society arbitrary rules and don't really want to, but they're not brave enough to break out of it. So they see you doing it and it creates their own internal tension and it triggers them. And again, that is not your problem. And I cannot repeat this enough, because even if I get a negative comment online, there's definitely a second where it hurts. It's like getting punched in the face. But I intentionally have to go through this process of, unless I truly was directly mean to someone, I don't have anything to apologize for, or there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying or doing, because I'm showing up as me, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the O in my GLOW method that I use for coaching is all about overcoming external validation and being so solid in your true identity of who you really are that nobody can take it away from you. So yes, it may hurt when the haters hate, especially when it's coming from people close to you, because surprisingly, sometimes the people closest to you can be very unloving and unsupportive. But when you're so solid in your true identity, you're not letting it derail your day or your entire mission. Because all of this, it's not about not feeling your feelings or suppressing your feelings. Because if someone's criticizing you, it's actually very healthy and normal to feel that initial sting. But the true growth is in how you respond to that, because you can learn how to feel safe in your body while feeling your feelings. And the funny thing is, and I tell my clients this all of the time, because I have a lot of women who come to me after a breakup or divorce, and they're so focused on the things outside of themselves. So for example, like, he did this and he did that. And yes, he did those things. And we're going to focus on ourselves, because when you start asking questions of yourself, like, do I like me? Am I happy in my life? Do I like who I am? Am I living in integrity with my values? Am I being the best possible version of myself that I can be at any given time? Then over time, you truly stop caring about what other people think. And again, yes, it can sting, but we can feel safe feeling our feelings. And overall, our lives feel happy and fulfilled because we're living for us. And that is such a liberating feeling, because when I truly got to that point when I was living my life for me and did not give AF about what anyone else thought, my anxiety went away. I very rarely suffer from anxiety anymore. And again, the flip side of this can be hard, because as human beings, we're wired for belonging and connection. But trust me, and I'm telling you this from a place of experience, If you have to set boundaries or remove some relationships from your life to clean up your external environment, I am telling you, those people will be replaced with people who are a better fit for your growth and expansion. Excuse me. And this has happened to me, but this has happened to anyone I've coached or talked to or heard about their growth journey. It's like how if you have plants, if you cut off the dead or dying leaves on your plants, it actually helps the entire plant grow faster and healthier, even if it looks kind of sparse in the short term. Because you deserve to be surrounded with loving and supportive people who love you and accept you for who you truly are. We don't tolerate people who are miserable in their own lives trying to tear us down or conform to an identity that they want us to be. We don't play small to make other people comfortable, because that makes us uncomfortable, and that discomfort eventually shows up as anxiety. So this brings us to our action item, and unlike videos 1 and 2, I'm only going to do one. And again, this is a practical step that you can implement in your everyday life so that you can actually embody change, because awareness alone doesn't stop anxiety. And the reason I only have one is because I really want you to take time on this. So your homework is, ask yourself, where have I been living for things outside of myself and not true to me? And I challenge you to really think about this, even if it takes several days, because this can be very subtle and show up in more than one place. And if you're having trouble with this, ask yourself, if I didn't give AF about what anybody else thought of me, what would I do? What would I say? What would I wear? What would I be posting online? Where would I be living? What would I stop tolerating? What would I start doing? And don't censor it. Just write like an unhinged day in the life in your journal and see what you come up with. And for extra credit, where can you make one change today to live life for yourself? So for example, maybe true you is like super creative. Maybe you used to love to paint. Can you paint a picture? Even if you don't have a lot of time, maybe intentionally carve out some time on the weekend or whenever you may have some free time. And that's just one example, because it doesn't have to be time consuming, but just think of one change that you can make today to live life for yourself. And something else I want to offer you, because if this resonated with you, because I feel like a lot of people come to a point in their lives where they wake up and they realize, I don't even know who I am because I've been living for all these things outside of myself. And maybe you're thinking, this is where my anxiety may actually be coming from. Then, well, first of all, I want you to know something. There is nothing wrong with you. Your inner glow is still there. Sometimes it's just buried underneath of this identity that isn't even yours. And so I can offer you two things on this to help you out, because this work is not easy to do alone because you can't see your own blind spots. So number one, this is the work that we do inside my signature glow sessions. We identify the core limiting belief and identity patterns that are dimming your light, and then we start reconnecting you to the version of yourself who feels fully expressed and safe in your own life. So if that sounds like the shift you're ready for, you can apply for a signature glow session in the link in the description. And number two, if you're not ready to go that all in, I created something for any woman out there who's done the work. Maybe you've read the books, you've done some spiritual work, and you still feel like something's missing, you still have this low-grade anxiety. So I have a free workbook. It's called the 80% Life Detector. So it's a free worksheet that walks you through 5 areas of your life, like career, friends, and it helps you pinpoint exactly where you're filtering yourself and not living at the full 100% of who you really are. So maybe you're settling or waiting for permission externally that you're probably never going to get. And there's also, the reason why this may be helpful for you is because there's an identity shift exercise at the end that starts closing the gap. So you can also grab that at the link in the description. And in video 4 of the You plus Anxiety equal BFF, how to stop fighting anxiety and start feeling safe in your own life, we're going to talk about the ways that we run from anxiety. They just end up causing more anxiety because sometimes we're our own worst enemies. So I will see you in video 4.